and greetings. Welcome back to the channel, guys. I'm back for my Monday What I Watched. Yes, I'm doing it on time this week. And let's get kicked on just with what I watched. Less of the old waffle. Your eyes do not deceive you. I am ginger. I've dyed it because it's Kiss of Ginger Day on the 12th of January. Well, that's what Leo says anyway, and I'm sticking with it. Sounds like a good plan to me. So, 2nd of January is my first watch of this year, which is a series that is on ITV Hub at the moment if you're in the UK. Now, if you're in the UK, you will know exactly what this refers to. To give you a very quick rundown, if you don't, basically within the UK we have post office that do a lot of the jobs that banks do, as well as being a post office. They were introduced a new computer system called Horizon that basically had a fault that could be accessed remotely from head office and was being so for various reasons, which I won't go into. So the error in this accounting system meant that at the end of the day, the sub postmasters, when they tallied up all their tech-ins, they would find they would be money down, money short. And it could be a small amount, it could be, like in one instance, it was £2,000, and while the woman was on the phone with a help desk, it doubled to over 4,000 right in front of her face. And this keeps happening to these people. And they have signed a contract when they took the job that they must make right any shortfall at the end of the day. Now, none of these people ever had any issues before, and all of a sudden they're finding their tech-ins being massively short every night. And this is happening all over the UK, but each of these individual postmasters is being told, you're the only one, no one else has an issue. This is the story of these people coming together, trying to fight the system, some of the implications of what happened to some of these people, which is very serious. No one to this day has been held accountable for this, no one has been punished, and as a matter of fact, the woman that is over, I think she was the CEO of the post office, she was the top dog. She was actually given either an OBE or a CBE in the honours list, which has not been revoked, and she has not been punished, which is disgraceful. This is a fantastic story. I could tell you more about it, I'm not going to, but I would urge you to check this out. It's implicitly acted, it's really emotional. You will watch it, and it's one of those things, if it wasn't true, you would refuse to believe that this could actually happen. And it has, and it did, and these people still have not seen a penny of compensation. I gave that a 4.5 out of 5. It was excellent, guys. I would very, very strongly recommend that one to you. Okay, on the same evening, I watched a little movie called Villains. Now, this is a 2019 movie that I'd never heard of. It popped up on streaming, can't remember which service, apologies. And what attracted me to this was the cast. Obviously, Bill Skarsgård and is it Micah Monroe? So this is an interesting little movie. Two bad people are about to meet two worse people. So this couple's car breaks down, they stumble upon this little house in the middle of nowhere. They think they're going to take advantage of the people inside there, but they stumble upon a very weird relationship and setup and something that's going on in this house. Now, I thought it was going to be something completely different than what it is. There is a child in this house that they are trying to save. I thought there was going to be something sinister surrounding this child. I enjoyed it. I liked the acting. I liked the little bit of black comedy in it. It was really interesting. I liked where we went with it. I wasn't a massive fan of how it ended, and I did think we were going to get a little bit of something a little bit more horrific in it, which you may say, what's wrong with you? Are you sick? It was bad enough, Lisa. I was expecting something a little bit more, but I do think it's well worth checking out. I give that one a 3 out of 5. Okay, next, American Underdog. This one is on Netflix at the moment. It has Zachary Levi in it. So this is an entertaining enough little story. It follows Kurt Warner. It says there he went from stock boy at a grocery store to 2-time NFL MVP, Super Bowl champion and Hall of Fame quarterback. A bit misleading. He always was an American football player. He just happened to need to take the job at a grocery store to pay the bills when he met his partner to basically feed the family. It wasn't a case that he was a no one and he rose to fame. It's an interesting enough little story. It's suitable to watch with your kids. It's just a family sort of like tale of underdog to climb into stardom kind of thing. 3 out of 5. It wasn't too bad. I wouldn't rush out and see it unless it's something that appeals to you. Okay, so next I went to the cinema to see Next Goal Wins. I didn't know an awful lot about this movie, guys, other than Michael Fassbender was in it and I really enjoy him, so that's why I went to see it. So, Be Happy. Dutch Coast, I can't say this, I've tried. Dutch Coach, right, I've done it. Dutch Coach Thomas Wrongin, it sounds like he's a wrongin, isn't he? Attempts the nearly impossible task of turning the American Samoan soccer team from perennial losers into winners. What actually came to pass is this is actually a true story. I didn't know about this. This is one of the worst football teams in existence. They went to, I believe, a World Cup and lost 31-0. I'm not joking. And in competition, they never ever scored a goal. This is a true story, guys. This guy is sent to coach them. He is an Irish coach. He's very fiery. He loses his temper and throws things all the time. Basically, he takes this job where he's fired because he maybe was good once upon a time, but he needs to chill. He needs to sort of like relax. And he is sent to this place where these people are the complete opposite of him. Relaxed, chilled, and he's supposed to try and help them win. I won't tell you anything about the story. I loved it. The sense of humour in it is completely up my street. It's really silly and stupid in places, and I love that. It's not trying to be really clever, and there's no cruelty in it. It's just a really feel-good movie. I loved it. I gave it a 4 out of 5. I would strongly recommend that you check it out, guys. It's such a lovely movie. Love the characters, fantastic acting, really nice message and story in there as well. Next, same evening, I actually watched this over a couple of nights because I was so tired the first night I fell asleep. That's no reflection on the movie at all. This is Society of the Snow. Let's have a go at this, guys, eh? La Sociedad de la Nieve. I don't know how they pronounce snow in Spanish. I don't think I've ever needed to say snow. Nieve? Nieve? Nieva? Nieve. So, Society of the Snow. Now, this is a new take on the, what year was it? 1972 Uruguayan plane crash. The movie that most people will know about this is called Alive. And this is where, does it say how many? It doesn't. It just says a rugby team going to Chile crashes into a glacier in the heart of the Andes. So they're in the middle of nowhere. It's freezing. They're in a mountain range. They're not visible from the sky. A certain amount of these guys survive. Obviously, a lot of them die. And this is the story about them trying to survive. And they show, which I loved, they show the real photographs at the end of this of the people. And it's a fantastic movie. It's obviously subtitles, it's in Spanish. I actually prefer this to the movie Alive, which I also really, really like. But this one, I feel got a lot more of the heart of the movie, a lot more of the emotion. You felt really connected, unless it was because I haven't seen Alive for many years and I would have been much younger. And now a bit older, I think, you know, you do think a lot more about how things would affect you psychologically and emotionally, I think, than you would do when you're younger. Maybe not, maybe I'm talking out my arse. Well, for me anyway, when I was younger, I wouldn't have thought so much about that kind of thing. Loved it. 4 out of 5. Quite distressing, obviously, but it is a really, really good film. I would thoroughly recommend it. It is quite long. I think it was... Something's telling me it was 2.5 hours. It doesn't say on here, but I know it's over the 2-hour mark anyway, but it is well worth watching. So next is The Abandoned. This is on Netflix at the moment. This is, I believe, Taiwanese. When a mysterious corpse is found in a river, a distressed police officer delves into a string of grisly murders as danger quickly approaches. Now, this is a decent enough little movie. I gave it a 3 out of 5. It's not amazing. It's not a horror. It's like a cop thriller, really. But it's very well acted. It's got a very interesting story. It's the kind of thing that if you like that sort of genre, definitely go watch it. A lot of people do tend to be put off when they have to read subtitles. I wouldn't say it's going to be the best thing you've ever seen, but I would say it's certainly well worth a watch if you're sitting at a loose end some night and you need something to see. So that's The Abandoned on Netflix at the moment. On the same evening, good grief. Now, I know that Shawn from Lost in the Rail has done a review on this, which I have yet to have time to watch, which I need to. And I am going to depend on what he says to tell me whether I should give this another go. This was late at night. I didn't actually finish this. I think there were about 20 minutes left, and I was really struggling to watch this movie. So, Love Lost is Love Found, and this is directed by Dan Levy. When his husband unexpectedly dies, Mark's world shatters, sending him and his 2 best friends on a soul-searching trip to Paris that reveals some hard truths that they each needed to face. So, Dan Levy, who seems to be really popular with everyone, I know he was in Schitt's Creek, which I watched 2 or 3 episodes of and couldn't get on with. I know everyone else loves it. Maybe I just didn't give it long enough. This is the woman that watched Game of Thrones and didn't like it until like maybe midway through the first season. So I can be completely wrong, guys. So this on paper sounded like something that I would really like. This is a real character study. It's about grief, it's about relationships, it's about friendships. And as it says, Dan Levy plays, I can't remember what Mark, plays Mark, whose husband passes away unexpectedly. And it's about how he tries to come to terms with that and how his friends are part of that and their relationship. This probably will be rated really high with a lot of people. I just couldn't feel invested with the characters because I didn't like them. That's the only way I can put it. I did not like any of the individuals in this movie. I didn't warm to them. People said that Dan Levy, I don't know if it's Levy or Levy, I do apologise, that he could have chemistry with like a plastic bag because he's so good. I will say his acting is fantastic in this. Everyone's acting is spot on here. There's nothing wrong with the acting. Some of the cinematography, the places that they're in are stunning. There is a scene in an art gallery in this, quite far through it, which I absolutely loved. I'm now looking at the poster and I absolutely adore the poster for this movie also. A guy comes into it pretty late on in the movie and I really appreciated his character. He was the first person that I felt a warmth for. Now what happened to Mark in this is hideous. He's lost his husband, but I just felt a degree of separation all the way through this movie and I don't know why. And I'm going to count on Shawn telling me, is that because I just wasn't in the right mood? Was I too tired? Do I need to watch this again? Because I feel there could be something worth watching here. We shall see. It didn't feel like me to watch a movie with this sort of subject and to not get really sucked in, really invested, because I am quite an emotional person when it comes to it's weird, in real life, not so much. But when it comes to movies, I think that's my escapism. Movies and TV and stuff, I just completely get enveloped into whatever's happening. And I didn't feel myself get carried along here. I just felt several degrees of irritation and thinking people were really selfish characters, and I don't know. I just felt separated from the characters, and this is the only way I can explain it to you. I gave it a 2.5 out of 5. It maybe deserves much more. I'm going to watch Shawn's review and see what he says. Bless Shawn always watches my weekly catch-up, so no doubt he will tell me below. So have a look and see if you can see Lost in the Rail, if you're interested in that. Or go watch Shawn's review. I will link it at the end and in the description. So I kind of needed this the next night after Good Grief. This is a UK comedian called Sarah Millican, who I'm a big fan of. I do feel, right, I'm going to be incredibly sexist now. I apologise to any female watching this. I find generally there's not very many funny women out there. There are some, but most really good comedians tend to be male. I just find for some reason men seem to do comedy better than women. I don't know if it's because there's more of them doing it, I'm not sure. There are very few female comedians I find funny. Sarah Millican is the complete exception. I find her absolutely hilarious. This is a stand-up of a show called Bobby Dazzler. She just cracks me up. She is so irreverent. She talks about things that really people don't want to talk about women and about lady parts and about functions, and she just does not care, and she just looks so sweet and so mumsy and so just such a sweet lady. She is such a sweet lady. I love her. I find her hilarious. If you're in the UK, watch this. It's so fun. Don't watch it in front of kids. For God's sake, don't watch this in front of children. I gave it a 4 out of 5. Very amusing. I did laugh out loud multiple times. On the same evening, I watched 2 more. I watched The Night Listener. Now this is one I've actually seen before, but my memory, guys, I'd completely forgotten. It's got Robin Williams. It was on streaming. This is one where he is in the midst of a crumbling relationship. His partner has left him for some space, some time on his own. Is he a radio DJ? He tells stories, he's a radio host, and he ends up talking to this young boy who I believe was 14, and he's a massive fan, and he forms this friendship, this relationship. And it's suggested because he never had kids, he wanted to be a dad, and it was like this father-son sort of relationship. He really cared about this young boy. It says questions about the boy's identity come up. The host's life is thrown into chaos, so he goes looking for this boy. because he's having troubles in life. Something's happened to him. This boy has written a book which Robin Williams' character has read. He wants to meet him. Toni Collette is in this. She plays the boy's mother. Really, really interesting. Something completely different for Robin Williams. I felt he appeared really comfortable in this role. It almost felt like watching this role, it's kind of like, it felt like you were seeing Robin Williams as how he was, like without any pretense, without any sort of manic, funny character. And then the other side, he sometimes plays roles where he's a really dark character, which I loved him in. I love him in serious roles. But I felt like we were seeing an honest portrayal of the man here for some reason. He just felt really comfortable for me in this role. 3.5 out of 5. I really enjoyed it. Would recommend. It's a 2006 movie. Night listener. Okay, on the same evening, this is one I've been meaning to watch for quite some time. This is called The Black Light, and this is one that was recommended to me by Leo from Geek Legion of Doom. This is one that he watched and he really enjoyed, and he said to me, you know, this is decent, you should watch it. So you can rent this on Amazon, or I believe, I can't remember if it was Hulu or Vudu, it's one of the two. So this is a 2021 film. Despite trying to leave behind his life of crime, Danny reluctantly teams up with naive rich kid Liam and wildcard drug dealer Kit Viper. I mean, that's a name. A botched robbery leaves them in possession of a mysterious supernatural artifact with immense potential. This was a really decent ideated movie. Quite unique. I've never seen anything, I don't think, like this before. Now, the start of this movie, you will have seen movies that show something that happened like centuries or many years ago to give you a background to something, and then we switch to the present day. That first, it's no more than 5 minutes, was outstandingly filmed. It was beautiful. I'm watching this, I'm watching the colours, I'm watching the cinematography, and I'm thinking, this is absolutely stunning. Now, unfortunately, we only get a tiny bit of that at the start, and then we go to more like normal. But I just had to say that the beginning of it was beautiful. Acting in all this is spot on. This is a low budget movie. It does really well with what it's got. I believed all the characters. They were multi-layered. They weren't very like flat, oh, this is a bad guy, this is a good guy. It wasn't like that. I'm not going to tell you anything about that. There is a botched robbery in this. That's all I'm going to tell you. That there's much larger implications at stake than these robbers realise when they break into this place. And it just sets in motion an awful lot of people's downfalls. I wouldn't say it's not going to be a massive blockbuster for you. You're not going to watch it and think, oh, that was absolutely amazing, but it is really unique. I don't think I've seen anything like this before, and I would recommend it. I gave that one a 3 out of 5. I think there's maybe one more. Have we got one more? Yes, we've got one more, and we've 2 more. Lisa watched American Psycho for the first time last night. So Stay. This is the first movie on my list of 12 that has been recommended to me. This is a 2005 movie with Ewan McGregor. I need to look. Naomi Watts and Ryan Gosling. There are other people, that's the main 3. I'm not going to talk at length about this because I'm going to do an individual video, because I said I would, about each of the 12 movies that were recommended. I did enjoy it, 3 out of 5. I did guess what was going to happen. This is a movie with a bit of a twist. I did sort of get what was happening. But maybe I just watched too many movies. So yeah, I would recommend. I do think it's very good. As I say, I will do a video with more information if you're interested about that one. And finally, American Psycho. I've never seen this, guys. I watched it last night. So you can see there 3.5 out of 5. I'm really torn, guys. I'm really torn. I almost switched this off after the scene with the Trump and the dog. I really struggled. When I was reading the trivia to read that the actual book was much more brutal than, and it said what happened in the book as compared to the movie. The movie's nasty. This guy's nasty, but you can't help but find him funny, and you feel wrong for finding him funny. The book apparently is absolutely just loathsome and horrible and nasty, and loads of people that they wanted to use music from refused, Whitney Houston being one of them. They wouldn't allow their music to be used in this movie. There's like very high fashion and suits and Rolex and all this sort of thing. Rolex would not allow the character of Patrick Bateman to wear a Rolex. People that provided suits would not allow, because they knew what the storyline was, because this guy is just such a nasty piece of work. I don't think it's awful, as in I've seen an awful lot more brutal movies than this. This is quite stylized. I do feel if they were going to do it, they should have done what was in the book, but they couldn't. Apparently they couldn't. It was too much. It's quite funny that they say this was written by a misogynist and the movie was directed by a feminist. I don't know if that's true or not, but that's what I read. He is very sexist, he's homophobic, he's racist, he is a nasty, xenophobic generally. He just is a nasty individual. But it was a good movie. It was a nasty movie, but it's a good movie. I'm really torn. The character, you cannot help but feel this is a very powerful, enigmatic character, and I can see why people dress up as him. I can see why he's just such, you know, I've never watched it before. I just didn't fancy it. I thought it was going to be like Clockwork Orange, and I hate A Clockwork Orange because I just find it so viscerally I just don't like it. I can't explain to you why. I just don't like A Clockwork Orange. I was expecting the movie to be similar to that, and it wasn't. I think the intelligence side that we had in this kind of won me over, because yeah, he is a nasty, horrible individual, but he's very smart, he's very polished. It's really taken the piss out of yuppies, which I really appreciated. The type of people they are, and the business cards and all this stuff. And you see occasional little glimpses of humanity with things he does. I don't know if that was something that's in the book or not. But apparently Leonardo DiCaprio was meant to play this, and he wanted, did he want 15 million to play this? And he left then at one stage, I think, to do The Beach, and they gave it to Patrick Bateman, and he did it for 7 million. People told him not to, it would be career suicide, but he did, and obviously it wasn't. But yeah, Willem Dafoe's in this also. Jared Leto, I'm sitting looking at Jared Leto for ages thinking, who the hell is that? I know him. And I had to IMDb it and see who it was. I was like, oh my god, look how young he looks. But yeah, it's not something I would recommend to everyone. It's not something that everyone will enjoy. I do say it is a good movie. I gave it a 3.5, which maybe seems a bit low. You may think I should have rated it higher. I just struggled with I really struggled with that scene with the man and the dog in a massive way. I was going to switch it off at that point, but I made myself watch it because it's one of those movies everyone talks about, and I thought, Lisa, you need to sit through this, you need to watch it. I'm glad I've seen it. Would I watch it again? Actually, I probably would watch it again. Yeah, I do see merit. I think the performance by Christian Bale is outstanding. I think he's fabulous in this, and he completely carries this movie. And like when I watched Die Hard recently, which obviously I had seen before, but when I read the trivia and I read how many people were going to play the character in Die Hard, and when I read the people that were linked to this, I'm like, no one else could have done this like he did. And what's really funny is, you know, that like manic face, that complete lack of sincerity that the character has, he got, this is funny to me. I love Tom Cruise, don't get me, I really like Tom Cruise. I don't like hearing Tom Cruise bashing, but he got his inspiration for the character of Patrick Bateman and how he was going to act and interact with people from watching Tom Cruise on an interview. It may have been Letterman. He said he was being so, a word for over friendly, I can't remember what it was, but there was nothing going on behind his eyes. His eyes were just empty, but there was this like over gratuitous friendliness, and that's where he got the inspiration for Bateman from, as to how he was going to play him. So that is weird. It's quite funny. But anyway, that, I think, guys, is that the last thing it is, because I watched it last night in bed. So finally, guys, I have watched American Psycho. So I've waffled for too long as always. Thank you for the few people that do watch the weekly watches. I really appreciate it. I think quite often, should I bother, because people don't like to watch longer videos, but if mine were split down into daily, they're 5 minutes each at most. I don't do any more than half an hour generally, but a few people do enjoy them, do comment, so I do keep doing them, as it's the only way I can kind of sum up what I've watched, because I don't get time to do videos every day. But thank you so much to the people that do watch, the people that do comment. I do really appreciate it. I shall be back, as always, next week with another What I Watched. I will be doing a review for Stay later this week, which I will record today, and then whatever one I watch next, I will put that one out next week as well. Thanks for watching, guys. Overnight from Lisa Loves.